Before we get into the picks, just look back at the top comments from my question in week 2. Who will ultimately end up with the #1 draft pick in the 2016 NFL Draft? Top comments go to Golden Beast 26 for picking the Raiders, Vinny XT for picking the Jaguars, and Miles Carter for picking the Buccaneers. Funny though how the NFL works. All 3 of these teams and a plethora of underdogs ended up winning in week 2, causing quite a stir in the betting prognosticating world. Last week was an absolute mess. On featured games, straight up, I ended 2-2. 1-3 for against the spread. If there is one diamond in the rough for week 2, and I don't know how I pulled this one out of the dark, but an incredible, outstanding record of 4-0 and over-under. Betting over-under is like flipping a coin 50-50. It's astounding that I even broke 500 this week, let alone snag a 4-0 record, from the abysmal 1-3 record from last week. In case anyone was concerned, the featured games in these videos are for straight-up purposes only, seeing as I pick the best games, and ultimately the toughest games for against the spread. I'm going to switch it up now, and give you guys the best 3 games to bet on, straight up, over-under, and against the spread, as well as the lock and upset of the week. The lock of the week will be included in the featured games for betting, but the upset will not. It's fun to see if I can actually call the right winner, let alone actually bet on. Just in case some viewers don't understand straight up, over-under, and against the spread, Desi Orozco has inspired me to include a link in my description that explains it all, so thank you, Desi. I had a massive surge in subscribers this past week, and I have now boosted up over 900. I just want to thank you guys because it's really the viewers that keep me wanting to do these videos. All of you guys hitting that like button and commenting, keep doing what you're doing, because if you have been following this channel for a while now, you know I like to engage with fans. I reply to every comment week in and week out. That's why I leave my personal Twitter handle and Facebook page in my description below. I want to see if we can keep this continued success. Let's shoot for 30 likes on this video. I want to post this week's question before we hop into the games for week 3. For week 3, what kind of bold predictions that you guys think of will happen in week 3? These can range to player stats, team records, team stats, a combination of any of those, etc. Give me your bold prediction for week 3 and maybe you'll be featured in the week 4 video. After that lengthy intro, let's get into the games. The first game we will be looking at will take place when the New Orleans Saints and Drew Brees come knocking on the Carolina Panthers' front door. The Panthers ended up winning a sloppy game against the Texans, while the Saints just couldn't find the end zone when they needed to against the Bucs. None of these 2 teams impressed me last week. Carolina couldn't put the Texans away, and the Saints seemed like they just couldn't get it in at all on Sunday. It has come to our attention very recently that Drew Brees suffered from an injured rotator cuff in his throwing arm during the game against Tampa Bay. He is expected to miss quote-unquote some games. If this isn't a sign from God from the Panthers fans, then I don't know what is. The Panthers did what they needed to get a win in week 2, and this week they can rely on their defense to do what it does best and cause havoc for second-string QB Luke McCown. Straight up, I like the Panthers in this matchup, as well as locking in the -3.5 for Carolina. You guys need to pull the trigger on early on this one, seeing as that line can move with the recent news about Drew Brees' injury. I can't see this game being high scoring, so let's shoot for the under 45 points. New Orleans needs to make adjustments and fast before they end up starting the season 0-3. The second game features a much higher spread on a game than I would personally bet on. The San Francisco 49ers travel into Arizona to take on the 2-0 Cardinals. The 49ers looked like absolute garbage against the Steelers on Sunday, losing by a differential of 25 points. The Cardinals, on the other hand, gave it to the Bears in Chicago and won by a differential of 25. I see the tides are changing in the NFC West with the Cardinals at the top. The 49ers cannot make mistakes like they did on Sunday because, much like the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Arizona Cardinals have an offense that will capitalize on those mistakes and make you pay for it. Straight up, how can I go against the Cardinals here? The 49ers couldn't stop the Steelers at home, so I have no doubt that they can't stop the Cardinals at home. The spread on this game is a huge 6 points. If Arizona can score 40+ points on the road, they better damn score 40+ at home. So let's take Arizona against the spread. As for the over-under, let's take the over 44 points. I think Arizona brings its high-scoring offense back from Chicago to put a whooping on the 49ers. Speaking so highly of the Pittsburgh Steelers, how are they only favored by 1 point against the Rams? Sure, the Rams have a good defense and can put up a fight at home, but the Steelers will see its #1 running back make his return in Le'Veon Bell. The Rams are coming off a tough road loss to the Redskins, while the Steelers are coming off an outstanding home performance. I think that both of these occurrences will bleed into this game, causing all havoc for the Rams. Who the heck is going to stop Antonio Brown? He is an absolute monster. So if you haven't guessed it yet, I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers straight up, and I'm taking Pitt to cover that +1 spread. Vegas must see something here with the Steelers only being favored by a single point, but I'll take it. Look for this game to stay under the 47 points because I think both defenses will hold strong. Let's jump right into the fan favorites. First things first, you can see my record for both the lock and the upset of the week under my icon in the top right corner. For this week's lock of the week, I'm taking the New York Giants over the Washington Redskins. Redskins fans, I'm sorry for picking against your team. They looked amazing last week and actually came out with a win over that stout St. Louis Rams defense. But I could see the rage and anger built up in Eli Manning and Tom Coughlin. After losing 2 straight games after leading in the fourth quarter, they will absolutely do everything in their power to not lose this one. Or else. The upset pick of the week, I'm going to do something I shouldn't here and choose a divisional matchup for my upset pick. One of the easiest ways to lose money is to bet on divisional matchups. But in case you're keeping track, 4 out of the 5 featured games on this video are divisional matchups. I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals to upset the Baltimore Ravens. I think Andy Dalton is ready to take control of the AFC North, and beating Baltimore will certainly put him on the right path. Last week, I ended up losing 128 to 111 in the Mass Tweeters Show in Fantasy Football League. It has been so hard this year in fantasy, starting out 0-2, but hey, I consider myself the Seahawks of the fantasy football world. This is the week I turn it around. This week, I hope to pull a win out against Gio Knows. Check for his link in the description. I am favored to win, finally, 115 to 103. A quick update for my ESPN Eliminator Challenge. It seems the party has already been busted in Week 2, and our overall winner for Week 2 is John Harrington 78. For picking the Packers in Week 1 and the Cardinals in Week 2, and winning with a point differential of 33. All 20 other opponents ended up losing in Week 2. Now, I don't know all the rules for this challenge, but I am encouraging contestants to keep on picking each week. Even if you lose, you could still pick. I think it goes to whoever picks the most games correct out of the 17-week season, so keep picking. If you like this video and want more like it, then be sure to smash that like button and hit that subscribe button as well. And be sure to check the description for all my social media outlets. I like to engage with the fans. I'll see you guys in Week 4.